Marketing without content is like a bow without arrows. Today, we're going to talk about your content marketing strategy in 2023 as a realtor. How can you leverage social media, the web, blogs, email, and content galore? How can you leverage it into a bona fide content marketing strategy that moves the needle in your business? Because here's reality, friends. Marketing without content is like a bow without arrows. Think about a bow without arrows. It doesn't do anything, but when you have arrows in the quiver, well, then you can take aim at certain objectives and achieve certain outcomes because you got what you need to do so. Well, marketing without content, what's content? Well, videos, media, blogs, email content. It's the stuff you post on social media, all the text, the copy, and the video. It's all content, and every bit of it is like an arrow in the quiver that can be used to deliver a message and achieve certain objectives. Marketing without content is like a bow without arrows. I would argue that right now, the opportunity has never been greater to reach the consumer with your message through content, through video, through the web. The opportunity has never been greater, and you may be thinking like, well, hey man, why does this matter so much? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just helping people buy and sell houses. It's so much more than that. Real estate's a relationship business, a know you, like you, trust you business. Well, you don't get trust without doing something, right? You get trust by demonstrating your worthiness of that trust. Have you ever stopped to wonder and question, what do I sell? As an agent, as a service provider, what do I sell? And a lot of you might say, I sell houses. Not quite. You perform a service that helps people buy and sell houses, but that's not really what you do. At the end of the day, the reason people hire you is on the basis of your expertise. That's what you sell, is your real estate expertise and the way you impart that expertise. And I gotta tell you, I can't think of a delivery mechanism greater than content to showcase your expertise. Because if you're just demonstrating knowledge and expertise and skill set and giving value to the consumer, well, every video, every post, every piece of media, every piece of content suddenly becomes a giant billboard for your services because that's what people are hiring you to do. A lot of agents get a bad rap for being overly salesy, and I would argue it's because they don't really know what they sell. But if you really zoom back and say, what is it I sell? I sell my expertise and the way I convey that expertise. And then when that shows up in every bit of media, every bit of content, well, hey, marketing without content is a bow without arrows. And if you're making videos and blogs and content that demonstrates your expertise, well, then those are arrows in the quiver that can be used to achieve the outcomes you set forth in your business. So today, we're going to talk about the step-by-step process, the big pillars and rocks of a content marketing strategy so you can leverage the tremendous opportunity that's right under your nose to build and establish your brand here in 2023 and into the future. So welcome to This Week in Marketing. My name is Jason Pantana. I'm your host, and I'm super glad you're watching today. If this is your first time and you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe, hit that big red button, and there's a little bell icon right next to it. If you tap that, it turns on notifications so you receive an alert whenever we publish new videos just like this that are designed to help you grow and scale your business. Now, without further ado, let's talk about some content. Now, the first layer of your content strategy in 2023 is what I've dubbed Content Blitz, as in making a lot of content. By content, I mean media, photos, the written word, but in particular, video. I'm talking mostly about video content. Every video is an arrow in the quiver, so to speak. And how do you make a whole lot more of it? Because these days, the algorithms are incredibly demanding for your content. Now, I want to be super clear about my intentions here. We're going to talk about how to get a lot more content without breaking the machine, without going crazy and ripping your hair out trying to get the job done, because I recognize that you're busy and you have other responsibilities running your business than just making content. But at the same time, content is the underpinnings of all marketing. Marketing without content is a bow without arrows. So how do we get a whole bunch more arrows, if you catch my drift? There was a study Later Media did at the end of last year that analyzed how many posts does it take from the average creator on Instagram per week to get the maximum performance out of Instagram in terms of reach and engagement. Now, listen to me very carefully when I give you the answer. I'm not saying you've got to make this much content. I'm explaining what it takes to get the ultimate success there is to be had from a platform like Instagram. And I'm using Instagram as an example that's indicative of all social platforms because all social platforms are greedy for more content. They recognize content are arrows and they want more of them, a vast armory of arrows, of videos, of content. I'm really playing this metaphor up. Anyways, what the study from Later Media found is that for the average creator with under 1,000 followers, The optimal number of posts per week to get the maximum performance, reach, and engagement out of Instagram was 14 posts a week. For accounts with between 1,000 and 250,000 followers, it was 14 to 20 posts a week. Oh my goodness. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that. Not at all. I'm saying that what the study found is if you want to get the maximum return on your investment with Instagram per se, that's how much content it takes to get all there is to be taken. Hopefully you're understanding the thinking here. I'm not saying you have to make that much content, but what if we did a thought experiment? What if we said we want to make that much content without spending any more time doing it, which is why I want to focus on content blitzing. This topic isn't about what content to make, it's about how to make a whole lot more of that content. And I want to introduce to you 3 different strategies, 3 different hacks or efficiencies, so to speak, to make more content in less time. And the first we call batching. Batching, meaning you're going to find a day once a week, once every other week, once a month, for instance, whereby you block a set time and you're going to start knocking out video after video after video. Get yourself in the groove. Get yourself in the flow to produce a lot more video content. The notion of making a video on the go, running and gunning, so to speak, is always going to put you behind. You're always going to be lagging and never getting more. How do you make more with less time? You consider batching content. One of our coaching clients, Katie Day, she runs the Move Me to Texas team in Houston, and she produces an extraordinary number of videos. She essentially publishes a reel, a vertical video on Instagram and then other platforms as well every single day. Yet she only films for a couple hours once a month because the best always batch. So what happens is she shows up to her monthly video shoot. She contracts a videographer. They use Peer Spaces to procure a venue. They basically rent a house and then film videos in the house. Videographer sets up lights, camera, all the stuff. Katie shows up. There's a printed list of topics that the videographer will press record and read. Hey, Katie, talk about multiple offer disclosure notifications. Katie will chat for a little bit. Hey, Katie, talk about escalation clauses or whatever it is. And Katie will talk about it. Just things that come up in the field, helping folks buy and sell real estate. There's going to be a printed list of, call it 80 to 100 topics, and they'll just let the camera roll for the whole time. And then Katie will riff, she'll vamp and answer, and then she'll leave a couple hours later, and the videographer will tear down, edit all the videos, put the subtitles in there, the music in there, all the fun extra frills in the videos. And then about a week later, Katie gets a Google Drive link with, call it 60 to 80 completed videos that she can publish every single day, once or twice a day, if she wanted to, because she's batching content. You got to get yourself in the groove. What kind of a video for a short form vertical video like a reel, a TikTok, or a short could you produce in bulk where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, knock them down and give me more? The best always batch. Now, the second type of efficiency or hack we call chopping. As in slicing, dicing, subdividing. So one of our coaching clients, Ken Posick, runs an amazing YouTube channel. He runs an amazing team in Orlando, Florida, generates a lot of business off of YouTube. Ken produces a weekly, call it long form video. It's maybe 8 to 13 minutes long, and it's about moving to or living in Orlando. It's really great quality content. I've talked about Ken on this show numerous times. Well, Ken also has a virtual remote editor who takes that one long form video per week and slices and dices. They chop it up into chops. We're calling it chopping, chop until you drop, so to speak. And so that video editor will look at, call it a 13-minute video, and then find here's a 15-second segment, here's a 30-second segment, here's a 45-second segment, and they'll slice it up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times with one different video, so that Ken can then take those short form videos, the chops, if you will, and publish them as reels, as TikToks, as YouTube shorts, and create an army of content that does his bidding. Remember, marketing without content is like a bow without arrows, and Ken has a lot of arrows to bring about his wishes from a branding standpoint. And our last efficiency for you to consider how to make more content, because you got to recognize content is the underpinnings of marketing. Modern marketing is content marketing. And if you can't figure out how to get the content, then we're putting the cart before the horse to talk about anything else. You got to make more content without it costing you time, energy, or resources. You got to work smarter, not harder. The last one is called sampling, as in like a DJ samples a track of another artist kind of idea. Sampling. For instance, all the vertical video platforms, TikToks, Shorts, Reels, within their video creation tools, they all have an effect called a green screen, whereby you can remove yourself from the background, kind of like a weather person giving the weather, and then superimpose whatever media behind you want. And so folks like Shannon Manjan, one of our rockstar clients in Austin, she looks for trending news articles. news articles related to real estate that she wants to interpret and curate for her audience, so to speak. And so she'll screenshot or screen record those articles, layer them behind her as the background in her videos, and then react to the news. She's sampling existing content, giving her spin on existing content. Remixes, duets, that's another idea that's under the umbrella of sampling content, whereby maybe there's somebody in your space and you can find call it a trending video, so to speak, or a trending piece of content, and you can remix it or duet and effectively sort of draft into whatever reach they've already created algorithmically. You're kind of stepping into their space. This is another efficiency to produce more content. Now, chopping and batching are going to get you exponentially more content. Sampling is going to be somewhat on the go, but it's going to allow you to kind of inject timely information and react to content in a way that keeps your feed super fresh, informative, and on the cusp of the leading edge. Fact is, you need to make more content. Not because it needs to cost you more time, but you need to work smarter. A system is what it is. It does what it does. Nothing more, nothing less. What's your system for producing an army's worth of content, an armory's worth of content? Because marketing without content is a bow without arrows. Hey, if you're looking to level up your content marketing, you know social media is an aspect of it that cannot be ignored. And if you're looking to step up your social game and you need the ins and outs of how do the platforms work, how do the algorithms function, what kind of content should I be producing, and you need the full workup on social media, then make sure to check out my course, Cracking the Social Code. It's pre-recorded video content that will walk you through step by step with screen sharing and everything for you to absolutely crush it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Link in the description. Now, layer number 2 of your content marketing strategy in 2023 is called Omnichannel Distribution. Omnichannel, multi-channel, it means basically the same thing. It means take your content, your arrows, your videos, and put them everywhere, across social, in your blog posts, in your email newsletter, in your Google business profile, photos and posts and products sections. Literally leave no stone unturned. Why? Well, because the average social media user, for instance, is active across 7 different networks. And so if they're on these networks, but not that network where you actually published, you're completely missing them. The fact is, you already put so much work into making the content, you owe it to yourself to put the content literally everywhere and let the content begin to work for you. But to do that, you need a smarter system. Now, I'm not saying you can't or shouldn't contextualize the content. We all know that LinkedIn is different than Twitter, for instance. So there will be layers of contextualizing your content, but the idea is that wherever the consumer is, there you are also. They find you, your brand, and you are earning their trust. Every video is building your brand. Every piece of content is attracting a result. You get what your content attracts. What are you attracting? And are you even in the right places to maximize the return of what is possible by way of attracting more buyers and more sellers? Omni-channel distribution. Put your content everywhere to get the maximum mileage out of every piece of content you produce. Now, that sounds great and easy, right? It's not easy. Distributing content is sort of a pain. It's kind of tedious and you need a process. Remember, a system is what it is, does what it does, nothing more, nothing less. So what's your process for distributing content, for leaving no stone unturned? I'm going to suggest there's 2 things you ought to consider incorporating to scale this more efficiently. One is the use of people. The other is the use of software. Let's start with software. There are what are called third-party publishing tools like Hootsuite, Buffer, Sprout Social, Later, Planoly. There's tons of them out there. I've got no favorites per se. And I know what you're thinking. A lot of folks are like, whoa, wait a minute. Don't third-party publishing software tools damage the performance of my content when I use them to publish on Facebook or Instagram or someplace else? And the answer is there is absolutely no data-driven empirical evidence to support that claim. None. Candidly, the very API they're using to publish on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever platform was given to them by that platform. Why on earth would a platform give away an API to a third-party publishing tool and then penalize them for using it? It makes no sense. Here's what does make sense. When folks start to overly rely on third-party publishing tools, the tendency is they don't what I call follow their shot. In basketball, when you take a shot, you're supposed to chase it down to get the rebound in case you miss. You're supposed to follow your shot. Well, whenever you publish content on Instagram, Facebook, whatever platform, you're supposed to follow the shot. What does that mean? Well, it means you're going to go in and work the feed, start commenting on other people's content, DMing them, trying to get notifications to go to their devices so they come to the app and then see your content and react to it. Because the faster we can get more velocity on interactions of your content, the better it performs. It means when they comment on your post, you reply, because again, it's all about interaction velocity. And so when you don't work a post by way of comments, DMs, and so forth, then that post is not maximizing its ability to get hearts, likes, reactions, and so forth. And you want to have that velocity. The faster you get early on, those are signals to the social platforms that, oh, this is good content. Let's show it to way more people. And so the reason why third-party publishing tools tend to, over time, cause a loss in engagement and reach is because the people who are using them are typically just setting it and forgetting it and not following their shot. You got to work the post. That could be a video unto itself. Let's keep moving on. So knowing that those things don't hurt, there's lots of paid tools out there. There's also a lot of free tools. For instance, LinkedIn lets you schedule posts. So does Twitter. So does Instagram, so does Facebook, so does YouTube. You can just use the built-in scheduling capabilities inside each respective platform. What's more, YouTube Studio is a really powerful backend for YouTube, and Creator Studio is a super powerful backend for Meta products, which is Instagram and Facebook. So for example, you can distribute content through the Creator Studio for free on your Facebook page and your Instagram account, cross-posting, if you will, the same content, and it works pretty darn good. Now, there is a big kind of elephant in the room problem when it comes to third-party publishers, and that is they don't publish everywhere, or they don't do all different features. For example, Instagram Reels requires that you're logged in to your phone. You have to do a reel through your phone. It won't even work through desktop. You can't do it through their Creator Studio. You can do a Facebook Reel, but not an Instagram Reel. So the partial component is a major limitation of third-party publishing tools. It doesn't mean don't use them. They're going to help. They're just not going to be a total package solution, so to speak. So for example, most of these platforms don't allow you to publish to Google business profiles. Or if they do, they only let you publish as a post, not as a photo or a video in the media section, for instance, or as a product. Or they don't work in your email newsletter if you're using your newsletter for distribution. Or they don't potentially embed that piece of content inside of a blog post to get the SEO perks. My point to you is the third-party publishing tools are a partial solution. They don't do everything, but they are a starting point. So where do you go from there? Well, you can also look at maybe getting a virtual assistant. There are tons of virtual assistant companies out there. I use a virtual assistant to help distribute my content. Now, the way that my process works is Instagram is kind of like the starting flag. Once I post to Instagram, I quarterback it, and then that tells my VA, my virtual assistant, to start distributing the content everywhere else. We use Google Docs and Sheets to coordinate. So the caption, the video files, the thumbnail images, all that stuff, all the components of the content are in different Google Docs. And so my VA is able to distribute content across the web according to the plan that's laid out for that content distribution. What I'm getting at is you need a system. The system does what it does, nothing more, nothing less. You need a system for distributing your content omni-channel everywhere. That means all the major social channels, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube, all the major channels there. But it also means your Google business profile, maybe in the photos or video section, maybe as a product, maybe as a post, maybe all the above. It depends on what content you're producing, right? And certainly don't neglect your email newsletter. If you're sending out bulk email, value-add content to your database, then the content you produce on social should be you got to get content mileage. I want folks to see you everywhere with an omni-channel distribution plan, and it also includes your blog, whereby you can embed the video in the blog post. The caption possibly becomes the copy. You can utilize tools like ChatGPT to magnify and augment and enrich your copywriting skills and turn you as a solo writer into an AI army of writing. My point is, you worked really hard making the content. Put it everywhere. Utilize what's at your fingertips in terms of helping you do that at scale. AI like ChatGPT, third-party publishing software like Hootsuite or Buffer or Creator Studio, tools like Zapier and other automations to help streamline your process, and then of course get actual people to help you with virtual assistants. Take your content and put it everywhere. What do you sell? Your expertise. And if every video, every piece of content is a big giant billboard for why work with you as a buyer, as a seller, put it everywhere. Make an army of content that builds your brand. Layer 3 of your content marketing strategy in 2023 is paid amplification. You should put some money, some moolah, behind your content. End of day, what do you sell? Well, we already said this. You sell your expertise and the way you convey that expertise. Your real estate expertise, to be more specific about it. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, that means the reason people would trust in your services, whether buying, selling, investing, referring business, the reason they would place their confidence and trust in you is because they believe you're up for the job. They're opting to go with you based upon your expertise. And so that means if you're making a ton of content, and it's video content in particular, and it's demonstrating your expertise by giving away valuable insight and knowledge about the marketplace, well, that means every video, every piece of content is, once again, we already said this, a billboard for your business. It's a sales pitch for why they should hire you, only nobody's gonna call you salesy. They're just gonna call you because your content is exactly what they needed to take a step forward in buying or selling houses. We always think it's about, oh, I sell houses. No, you help people buy or sell houses, but that's not what you're actually selling. You're selling your brokerage services and expertise to get that job done effectively. So I get the question pretty often, hey Jason, what's the best ad I could possibly produce on Facebook or Instagram to promote my business? And usually folks are expecting me to give them some kind of a lead generating direct response idea, what's your home worth, something like that. And those are great. They have their place in terms of lead generation, but consider this. If your content is already natively, that is organically, a giant sales pitch for your services because it portrays your expertise to the consumer. And because of that, it naturally leads to people DMing you or reaching out to you, wanting to do business with you, or recommending others do business with you. If your content is already causing that inbound opportunity to come to you, well, then what would happen if you put money and targeting behind that same content and directed it at a broader, more targeted, more niched audience? Well, by a proportionate extension, you would get that many more inbound leads and opportunities. I hope that point resonates. Your content needs money behind it because your content is already your best ad that you could possibly create. So pay to play. All right, so where do you run the ads? Well, let's start with Meta. If you're not running Facebook and Instagram ads, you're missing a huge opportunity to promote your content. And it could be as simple as just boost it. Just boost it and let that be that. It's better than nothing, certainly. A boost is not as surgical, so to speak, as creating a true ad, whereby you go into the ads manager, the Meta Ads Manager. And inside the Meta Ads Manager, you can do crazy targeting. You can upload your CRM data, whereby you upload a spreadsheet of all your contacts, name, phone number, email address, and it can be cross-referenced against the user database at Facebook and Instagram so that your ads actually get shown to those people on Instagram or Facebook, regardless of whether or not they follow you. You can upload your database. It's called a custom audience, specifically a customer list custom audience. You can also retarget your followers on Instagram. We know that the average person on Instagram, the average account, only 10% of your followers see any given post. And so if you want to ensure that your content is influencing them, is driving them to action, then pay to play and retarget them with an ad campaign that takes your content, your organic content, and then puts money behind it to target it to the people who are already, quote unquote, in your funnel. That is your followers. You could target your local marketplace, the county, the city, do a 15-mile radius. You can create lots of different types of engagement audiences of people who've engaged with your content across Facebook or Instagram. You can even create what are called special ad audiences, where you could say like, hey, Facebook, hey, Instagram, here's my email list. You can upload it. And then you could say, create a special ad audience of people who are like the people on this list based upon what you can determine in your own list of users, but aren't on this list. And we call that new growth, whereby now you're using your content as a means of promoting your agent brand to people who have never been exposed to your agent brand. You're growing your footprint, you're growing your brand. And it doesn't stop with just Meta ads. You can run ads on TikTok, you can run ads on YouTube, you can run ads on LinkedIn, you can run ads on Pinterest. All the major social platforms that exist today have the ability to run ads. Now, I'm not suggesting you have to do it on all the platforms. What I am suggesting is your content that is performing for you organically may have even more potential to do more good and create more growth in your business if you put money and targeting behind it. The idea is your brand under the dome, meaning everybody in your local marketplace. Use your content to target your local marketplace, whereby they're like, you're that agent, I see you on Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform it is with the content that was designed to give value to them. You're not selling them anything. You just want them to watch the video, but really you're selling them your expertise. That's what it means to be an influencer from a content marketing standpoint, to be that agent influencer in today's 2023 content-rich environment. So you target your local marketplace and you also retarget your existing contacts. Sphere of influence, past clients, friends, family, your followers on social, the people who are already aware of you, you're already on their radar, so to speak. Use your content to be in front of them again and again and again, where it drives top of mind awareness and it creates this sense of you are their agent of choice. You've heard me say it lots of times. If you're not the agent of choice, you're an agent of chance. And the odds never favor the agent of chance. It may seem like a headache or a ton of work to create a content strategy like this, but the reality is if you go step by step, a content blitz, working smarter, not harder, get more for less, distribute it everywhere, get the maximum mileage for everything you produce content-wise, and then hey, the best ads you could ever serve to your potential audience of customers is the content you're already producing that adds value to their lives and helps them learn things and decide about steps forward in all things real estate. Modern marketing is content marketing. And if you're not content marketing, I dare say you're not marketing. And if you're not marketing, well, we know what happens to that. Oh, and hey, I'd love to know from you, what are you doing content-wise that's working? What are you producing? Where are you publishing? What's driving results in your business when it comes to content marketing? Until next week, this is This Week in Marketing.